Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. Hope you are well. What we're going to look at today is how we make a custom border or shapes for curved edges. Now, when we make sort of custom shapes onto the edges of, say, our spaceships or our buildings or something like this, when we choose these pieces, okay, the pieces like this can all very easily go together because they're just very solid square type shapes. So far, so good. What causes a lot of people issue and angst is how do we create these shapes here that follow like this red line here? So this red piece here, I've started to make this piece, this block, to be cut away and only leave the curved edges on my shape. So usually when we have a curved shape, we will have these pieces just like the other one and we sit them onto the curved shape, but the corners like this stick out, and that's not what we want. So what I have to do is I have to create a hole like this that is going to keep all these other pieces inside it except for everything that's here. Now this diameter here is only 1 millimeter bigger than the actual shape, so they sit inside like that, and you can see where that red piece is, and that's what's going to be left. All this gray part here is going to be cut away, okay, with this cookie cutter. So how do we do this? So let's go and delete this for a second. I'm going to show you how all this works. So when I go and group these pieces together in a second, let's show you how it works before we begin and how we show you how we make it. Let's go and select these shapes that are on my cylinder, including the actual box itself like that. So when I go and group this now, I've only selected those two, not these ones here. So when I go and group them now like this, it will cut the pieces away and just leave the custom shapes on the side like that. You can see I didn't select that one, but we're going to show you how to select more than one at a time. So that's what we're aiming for. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, it's a bit of a process. There's 3 steps to it. First step is we need to go and make a cylinder that's going to go around this that is about 1 millimeter inside. So I'm going to hold down Option or Alt on your keyboard and pull that out and turn the actual shape that your model is into a hole. So we're matching the shape here of your actual model. So we're going to turn this into a hole like that. And then we click on the corners like this, and we can go and change these numbers of our diameters to 51 instead of 50. So now the whole thing is now 51 millimeters in diameter, and it fits over everything like that. Let's go and align this properly. Yes, it's not aligned, is it? Let's go and use my align tool. Make sure this fits. That looks about right, doesn't it? Okay, then we can just go and pull the shape up. Now, the thing is, what we need to do is we have to go and stop this being selected. We just have to make the tube that's just slightly bigger than, not crazy, but just slightly bigger. And you can see now that that tube is already ready to cut all those pieces away. But at the moment, it's going to cut everything away, but not this box. Next, we have to go and make the cookie cutter. So the cookie cutter itself is just a box. That's all it is. And you pull that around your shape like so. And you only need to get this piece above the actual shapes on your... It doesn't need to be crazy. It doesn't need to cover the whole thing. It just needs to be above the shapes that you want to cut out. Okay. So let's go and turn this into a hole. Let's go and grab my hole and the cookie cutter itself. And this is going to go and just cut a hole directly in the middle. And you can see now that that 1 millimeter there is ready to be left behind, because we're going to go and turn this into a hole, which is now the second part. We're going to turn the cookie cutter now into the second part. So like this, because we need to go and select the pieces like I did a moment ago, including the box. But I've got 1, 2 pieces that I need, or 2 sets. I've got these sets here and this set here that I have to go and select and join them all together in my selection. I'm going to go make my edges nice and flat like this and vertical so that I can bring my select over properly, because if they're like this, I can't select everything properly. So if I just move my camera around like this, And then I can go and select these pieces here. You can see it's a very finely tuned selector that I'm going to go and do. So I'm going to go and grab the pieces now. I could go and make them a bit more protrude at the side a bit more, perhaps. But it's okay. We can just go and pull them together like this. Like that. And you can see that red line is just going to go above everything, not the cylinder, and it selects. Now what I want to do now is I want to go and grab the second set. And you could have 3, 4, 5, 6 different sets going on. But what I want to do is hold down shift. So I'm holding down shift now, and now I'm selecting the second part. When I hold down shift, it joins the first selection over here with this selection over here. So with this second group. So I'm going to go and just bring this together like so. Including, can you see? It's only selected all those shapes. I need to go and select the cookie cutter at the same time. These white dots need to go and join over here. So I hold down shift again, keeping my finger on shift, and I click on the cookie cutter, and now it joins these. You can see the white dots have got this, and they've jumped from these boxes to this box. Now all I've got to do is group them together, and it will cut everything out like that. So there we are, and now we can go and group them. Remember that these could be words. You know, you could have your text in here, and you could put your text onto the side like this, and you could cut your text out. So if you've got some writing on there, some letters that you're going to